guess our first question is, how do you say Lena's last name?
Duquesne.
Duquesne.
Duquesne rhymes with rain.
Super.
The H and the S are silent.
Which is weird out here because there's the town of Duchesne. I know, but in the east
It's
not
Creole.
such a problem.
It's Duquesne.
Okay, gotcha.
But I said it
That's a
wrong
good
the
question.
first 3 months that
Yeah.
was her name.
Well, I when you read in your head, I never think of those things. Like, oh, I wonder how they pronounce it. And then I was reading the synopsis to the girls, and I was like, oh, it's Duchanis. She became Latin.
That sounds very pretty too.
I know.
Well, I always thought that Hermione was Hermione, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you? Mm-hmm. And then weren't you freaked out when her name was Hermione?
Yes. So, can you talk about the pressures of writing a second book? How's it different from writing a first? And
Well, we wrote the first book on a dare for 7 specific teenagers, so we didn't write the book to be published. So it was very different to then write a book for, as a job, where we had a contract and we had to do it. And
Yeah, we sort of accidentally wrote our first book, and a friend sent it to a friend who's a middle grade writer named Pseudonymous Bosch, who's awesome, and you guys should read him. The name of this book is Secret. If you're reading this,
Secret
it's too
series.
late. This book is not good for you. This book is not what it seems. Anyway, that was my plug. Sudi, as my editor calls him. But he sent it to an agent without telling us, so we didn't really even have any idea we were being published. And it really was a dare. It was 12 weeks of writing, and then we were going to make it a website because we had a little viral following.
we're going to put it up online.
That's
So
the
it's
book.
totally different to suddenly be doing it, as like a career, and knowing that not just like 7 or 20 people are going to read it, but a lot of people. So I think that the main pressure is just that since people were so receptive to beautiful creatures, obviously the people that love beautiful creatures, we don't want to disappoint our readers now. So I think that's the only pressure.
That's actually all we think about.
We just we want to make sure that each book, is we raise the bar and it's better, and our readers feel satisfied when they're done.
Did the expectation of your readers ever give you writer's block?
Well, there are 2 of us, so only one of us is ever functional at any time.
So if you have a block and you have a partner,
it's like
it
a
works
hot
out better.
potato.
No, I don't really get intimidated while writing, but once the book is done and those months coming up to the book releasing, then I start to feel nervous and just worry and hope that the people that have loved beautiful creatures are going to love the second book as much. That's when I get to nail biting.
Yeah, all writers go through this period where they believe no one will buy the book. It's like when you have a party and you don't think anyone is going to come to your party.
And the dress you have is wrong, and none of it's going to work out.
We're always shocked when there are any people at all at any of our
And this
events.
is awesome because we automatically have you guys, so we have a little crowd.
Yeah, please tell us you're staying. But so the book went on the USA Today bestseller list, and we were shocked
Today.
and it's making some other lists too that aren't announced yet, but we were shocked. I mean, we never believe anyone will read anything.
And the teens top 10? You're gonna
Yeah.
post
That
on
was
that?
awesome. And see, that one actually, those are the kinds to us that are the most meaningful because the readers are voting for those. So, that's from the readers. It's not about sales. So we loved that, and we loved when we were nominated for the Morris because that was chosen by librarians. So it was kind of the same thing.
We're sort of obsessed with
We're
teachers, librarians, and readers. That's kind of
We're
our,
really nerdy.
that's sort of our thing. We're not really quite as good with grown-ups as we are with kids, though. So that's why I think we like teachers and librarians, because that's sort of the same.
They spend all
Kind
their
of
time
kids
with kids
anyway.
too.
Yeah,
We are. We're kind of kids anyway, I suppose. Maddie, I think you had a question.
So how did your writing process change during the second book?
Well, some of it stayed the same, and some of it we figured out different things about our own process. We were harder on ourselves. Our editors were harder on us, which,
And we were harder on each other and on ourselves, for sure. Just trying to
how
make
could
it
you be any
better.
harder on me, really?
You're such a baby. She pretends that she's constantly the victim, and she is really the whip cracker. I was on family vacation, and I'm getting
Victim is
emails
such
from her, and
a-
she's like, "I have gotten no pages from you. What are you doing?"
Well, that's the point of having 2 people, right? Is there's always somebody to crack the whip.
Sure.
On the other person.
But I think that the main difference was just that the first one we just wrote it and had the teens reading it, and now we have editors reading it and giving us input, and we're just trying to raise the bar. I was a teacher until February, and as a reading teacher, Unfortunately, I believe in the curse of the sequel. Where the sequel doesn't really have a story, and it's like a fat sausage link, Margie says, where like is a bridge from one book to the other, and I don't like that. So
It's like a piece of hot dog.
yeah, we wanted to
Right?
make sure
With
there
the
was
two ends.
no hot dog, and that our second book had a really great story, and that was also part of the bigger one.
Do you still write chapters and switch back and
Yes.
forth
Oh, yeah.
and bloodily, that's not even a word, it should be though, bloodily chop apart each
Yes,
other's writing?
it's Jedi editing. That's the only way we know how to do it.
I think though also knowing that the movie deal was in place, that we tried not to think about that. And I think it can really mess up a writer when you're suddenly thinking about how will something look on screen or
Oh
how
yeah,
would that
I don't
translate.
think about that at all.
So we tried to block that out of our heads, and also the 38 countries. I mean, that messes with you too, because you're thinking, how is that going to go over, or how will the translator even get that across? But you just have to kind of
You can't think about it.
detach all
You just
that.
have to think about the universe, the story you're telling, and that's it. Because if any of that stuff is a factor, I think it's going to influence or impact the story negatively,
But
probably.
we've also just finished the first two major passes of our third book, so our process has even changed since the writing of this book. It's evolved.
Hopefully
again.
we've gotten better.
We're a lot worse. We just don't know.
Who knows?
I'm going to knock wood better.
Carly?
Alright, so there's been a lot of numbers floating around, but how many books are you gonna do?
We were contracted for 4. So Warner Brothers and Little Brown will be really angry if we don't write 4. So there are 4 books.
But when Variety announced the movie, they said there would be 5
I
books.
think that's where the
And
confusion comes
At
in.
that point, we contracted for 2 books. We were like, that's great. Who the heck is writing the other 3 books?
Yeah, so right now they're
I hope they're really good at it. Do you have a question for us?
What kind of genre of books do you like to read? Like, do you read the
We are-
gothic western style romance?
We are really, really fantasy girls, and I'm sort of a science fiction person also, because I also wrote video games for 10 years, and so one of the games I worked on was Dune, which is like a really old science fiction book,
I know, isn't that cool?
and a lot of other sci-fi stuff. So, but really fantasy. We grew up reading C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and Susan Cooper, The Dark is Rising, best book ever written. And Diana Wynne Jones, who we don't read as much in America, but you might have seen Howl's Moving Castle. That's her book.
It's great.
Just, really like high fantasy.
I read a lot of urban fantasy, but I read almost exclusively YA. Margie reads more adult than I do, and then I read nonfiction. That's pretty much it. If I had more time, I think I would read more stuff, but
I didn't.
I run out of time. I have big piles, but I just can't get to it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you always readers, or did it kind of come
Oh,
to you
yeah.
later? I mean, since you were children, you
I
were
read
there
before I
kind
even
of-
went to kindergarten. Reading for me was always an escape. I've read my whole life.
What about you?
Yeah, we made, Caleb Nation, who's a good friend of ours, is making a documentary of this tour, and he released the second section of it today, and basically there's a funny clip where I just say, I read in the tree, I read in my bed by the nightlight, I read in my closet eating the food storage.
But all true.
Snacks, because I was in earthquake country. I read at the piano bench, I read in church with the book hidden under the pew.
I used to read in class with my book, in my desk, and get in trouble all the
Yeah,
time.
so Ethan Waite in our book has his Silver Surfer comic inside of his book in class, or his other books hidden under his bed. We have a lot of closet readers in our series,
That's funny.
Like you.
like us.